listening to Kane, Randy, and Brooke on Scratch the Vinyl.
Scratch the Vinyl.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Scratch the Vinyl. You made it back for another week. We're really just no longer surprised that you guys are coming back because we have had some of the best guests around, and this show is going to be no different. So I'm going to tell you guys a little story, then I'm going to bring on the other guests. So I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I went to the Not a Surf show. It was kind of one of those last minute deals where Richard Bretta and Cole Moore called me and they're like, you know what, Kane, we want to go to a show with you. We're not even going to tell you who it is or what's going on. We just want you to come to Omaha. And I'm like, of course I'm going to go. I had no idea, went in cold. And the first, as we get there, I find out we're seeing Not a Surf, who I know. I've been listening to them a long time. I love them. But the band that we're having on today, they were the opener for them. And I mean, I cannot be more thrilled to the fact that I got to talk to them for one, but the fact that they were just so amazing as a opener. Sometimes when you go to these shows, they pair with like people who maybe aren't as good as them. And I don't know if they do it to set themselves up for the win. I'm not saying Not a Surf does that, but some bands do. But this was not the case. This band couldn't have been a better pairing, I felt. I mean, I'm so excited. I just want to bring them on immediately, but I do have to get the other hosts on. But I will say that this band was they were entertaining right off the bat. The lead singer, he was just interesting and everything that I want to see in a lead guy. His wife on the drums, who I talked to at the merch, she was such a lovely, nice person and just down to earth, talking to everybody and just being really cool. Then she goes up there and rips on the drums. And I thought, oh my God, these two, I mean, you just fall in love with them immediately. So it was just a blast. So that's just kind of a pre-starter to how great things were. I will say this, on the merch side, I bought a Not a Surf hat and I was excited. Like, it was my favorite hat right off the bat. It fit great. I have a big head. And like 3 days later, my dog Rocket, the fat little cockapoo mix, comes up, proud as a peacock, and he was eating my hat. So he destroyed the hat. I can't really be mad at a face like that because he's a lovely fat little dog and I love him dearly. So long story short, my wife felt bad and she got on their site and bought me a hat immediately. So now I'm wearing said hat right now. I'm just feeling the vibes. I should have bought a hat from the other band too. So I'll probably get on their site when I get done here and probably get myself one of their hats too if they've got them. So with that being said, let's at least bring on the other hosts. Right now we have the Big Red Machine. You know who she is. She's not really a witchy lady, but she bewitches our hearts. Brooke Johnson, how are you?
I'm wonderful. I am so happy to be here because our guests that we have, like, this is my bag. I love this music so much. And they are, I'm telling you, like, when you see a couple and you just want to be friends with them, I want to be friends with you guys so much. Oh my God.
Done.
Okay. Yes. So when can I come down? Do you guys have like a spare room or anything? No.
We do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. What
Doors open
for you? I'm kidding. I'm excited though to talk to you guys. I'm so excited.
Brooke loves closets. She's always mentioning that she's hiding in my closet next to the skeletons that I literally have in there. But she might even be in your closet right now. I don't know. Does the background that she has look familiar?
Let's see, probably.
Yeah, I think I remember that. I like your bar area. I do remember that from last night. There it is. Hey, if you need a bartender, I'm your girl.
There you go. Fully stocked.
Let's get our other host on here quickly. He is the chill man himself. He's the Godzilla of entertainment in this town and many towns until he knocked down all the buildings and, scared the locals away. And then he partied with them. It's Randy Wilson. Randy, how are you?
Well, I maybe don't party as much anymore, but we still have a good time here on Scratch the Vinyl, don't we?
We absolutely do, man. We've had a great time now for a year. I mean, I've been podcasting now for a good 6 years, but with this particular podcast, I mean, we've reached our year mark and then some, and we just keep blasting off. This show has really taken off, hasn't it?
It has. In fact, all of our listeners out there, please take this opportunity to like and subscribe us on YouTube and help us grow the channel because we love doing what we do. And I can't wait to get into it with our guests here today.
Well, let's we kind of briefly brought him in with Brooke because we couldn't help ourselves, and now we're going to bring them on officially. So they're from the Clay Ellen Band. They opened for Not a Surf. They're a kick-ass band. It is Ian and his wife Sarah. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, doing good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for the warm welcome.
Now we got to live up to it.
Yeah. I hope it wasn't too doting or nerd-like. I don't know if you guys remember me, but I was the nerd at the counter right after you guys played, and I was talking to you, Ian, and I said you had like kind of a like a Walsh quality from the Eagles. You know what I mean, to your voice. Like,
Yeah,
I really
remember.
And you kind of snickered, but you took it well. I don't know. Did you?
No, it's good. It's good. The tour, this like every night on the tour, I'd get different feedback in different cities and all stuff. And Joe Walsh was like, I'll take that one. I got a lot of, I don't know, Elvis Costello and.
I think Elvis Costello and Joe Walsh were the two that we heard the most.
Well, they were there. No, I think Joe Walsh was, I think you were the only one that said Joe Walsh, but like, that was just like one of the high quality ones. I mean, Bono and Freddie Mercury and David Lee Roth, the obvious,
You didn't hear that.
obvious comparisons. You know what I mean?
Well, you got the Elvis Costello look, but the Joe Walsh voice. That's not a bad. It's not a bad thing.
I got the David Lee Roth 2025 hairline too, so you know.
You got the David Lee Roth attitude.
Exactly. All dime, all the time.
See, and I kind of felt like it was your lyrics and how fun. I mean, some of them were pretty funny, like your songs. It's like you have like a Jack Black vibe. I thought like you're just
it could be worse. Yeah.
And I love him. He's like my favorite
same.
in the whole world. And I was listening to some of your lyrics. I'm like, hell yeah, this is totally my.
They're like tongue in cheek here and there, we go between immortality and sudden death looming and the whole collapse of society, and then dick jokes. You know what I mean? Somewhere in between.
And that is, you have no idea. Like I seriously want to come hang out with you guys.
We're doing it. This is what's happening right now.
How about before we get into everything, why don't we get a little background of the band and how you guys started and what's your background in music and what got you into doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously we're a couple, so that's kind of a weird, not weird, but not very common thing because I played drums in a million bands. When Sarah and I got together, I was playing in a Led Zeppelin tribute band that did really well called Led Zeppelin 2. And that's how we met. Sarah had started playing drums. She was is a huge Bonham fan. And she was like, I'm going to go see this Led Zeppelin band. And she talked her buddy Reed into coming to see the show. And then we love at first sighted, what is it? The Dreamweaver sequence, all that kind of stuff. Mainly because I was wearing a wig playing John Bonham stuff and all that kind of stuff. So that was love at first sight, but she had been playing drums. And then, so Fast and Furious romance and just like soulmates and instant, like, inseparable. Like we've pretty much been, inseparable for 15 plus years or whatever we're at. Mm-hmm. And so Sarah had been playing drums. So there was like this kind of dynamic of like, oh, give me drum lessons, free drum lessons from my.
You're an amazing drummer.
Yeah. So I was playing in all these bands and living in Chicago, and then I was living in San Francisco at the time, and then but the Zeppelin band was out of Chicago. So I played in lots of bands in Chicago all through the 90s, and I played in tons and tons of bands. I was in a band with Ed from Urge Overkill, and I was in a band with a guy named John Brandt. He was a replacement bass player in Cheap Trick. So I've got all these kind of almost like bands that I played in and stuff that like this band almost happened and that band almost did this, and like anecdotal kind of stories. So that's my quick background. And then, so Sarah started tour managing, but the Led Zeppelin band was doing good, kind of like playing, 1,500 cap rooms, like House of Blues and Fillmore kind of places, and touring like 70 shows a year. And Sarah started tour managing us and doing our merchandising. And so we were on the road as a team. And then that kind of morphed into us basically like buying a tour bus and becoming so we own a fleet of tour buses, and we're crew for a lot of bands. So we work with a lot of bands. So we're the road crew. Okay. So we started off as a package where like I drive the bus and Sarah be the tour manager or the merchandising manager. And so we pretty much been on the road for, 300 days a year for the last 10 years as crew. So that's the overarching thing. And that swallowed up kind of Sarah's ability to like play drums, because like here we are, we're just on the road all the time. So
Drums don't travel that well.
You can't just like, and the bands that we tour with, like, Andrew Bird, kick his drummer out of the way, and Sarah's like, let me just sit down and jam. No, it just doesn't work, right? So that whole thing, kind of our business, which, I quit the Led Zeppelin band in 2017 and kind of decided to focus on our business. And so like through that time, Sarah and I, we'd kind of like, we'd have a day off on a tour. We'd be like, okay, let's go into a rehearsal space, and in San Francisco or Chicago, wherever we were, we'd kind of find time to kind of, jam, and Sarah'd get behind the drums and I'd play bass or whatever, whatever we had, just to kind of kick the dust off. And that kind of evolved. And we started renting a house in Vegas. I don't know, maybe 2017 or something like that. Yeah. And then, so around this time we were kind of getting a little burnt on, being on the road 350 days. We were kind of like living in a tour bus on the road, working for other bands, and, which has its own satisfaction and amazing. We're surrounded by amazing musicians all the time. And so there's lots of inspiration around us all the time. And, but it sort of strangled our ability to, we didn't really know. We sort of had like kind of, well, in our future metal band, all of our songs are going to be like, Sarah was like, all of our songs are going to be like, I Want to Be Your Dog, or I Love Rock and Roll, or, or like Lust for Life, basically like, Gary Glitter songs. I mean, that's like, that was as far as we got to develop it. But, and I don't know, the joke, but like, there's a joke when the drummer gets kicked out of the band, which is me. The last thing he said is, I got some songs. So what's the last thing a drummer says when he gets kicked out of the band? I got some songs. So me as a kind of bass player, guitar player, piano player, singer, songwriter, whatever, never really got evolved for me in my life. So anyways, that's the quick version.
Well, then the pandemic happened.
And then the pandemic. Yeah, this is essentially
this
is pandemic story. Yeah. So then we're like, our whole life is wiped out. Our whole business that we'd spent at that point, like 5 years, 7 years building.
Our whole industry is out of work. All of our friends are out of work. We're out of work. I think our livelihoods were at financial. We were just risk.
Like at the brink, because we had
total destruction.
We had put all of our time and energy into building this touring company, and like I said, so Sarah. So anyways, we had this house that we were not even really living in. We just had rented it, and it was like our gear was stored there. So Sarah's drum kit's up in the corner, and we got a piano and a bass and our amps and all that stuff, kind of, which I sort of had left over from being a musician for all this time, and Sarah's drum kits that never really got used. So we basically, during the pandemic, we started hiking every day, which is why we lived in Vegas. And then after hikes, we just get together and go, okay, let's try to write songs. And
we have all this time on our hands.
We got time, and we're not on the road. So it's kind of like, and myself being sort of, playing in lots of bands or whatever over the years, just the dynamic of us kind of jamming. I don't like jam bands. Sorry, jam bands. I don't like jamming. Luckily we don't really tour with any jam bands. So so we'd kind of write, I'd play bass or pick up the guitar, sit behind the piano, and Sarah would play drums. And I'd just go, whoa, that was really cool. What did you just do there? And she'd be like, yeah, this is my beat. And it was just like, very, very fast. The songs, the magic or whatever, my antenna was up kind of for that stuff. But I'm not really a front man or a guitar player or whatever. So I just kind of hum some words, and then I'd just be like, and it just like the songs kind of came really fast in the pandemic. So we just kind of, and then we'd kind of like set up some microphones. Like Sarah's drums didn't even have real heads on them. They were just like those mesh practice heads and stuff. So we kind of demoed the stuff like really fast, but we kind of got into a little like routine of like, we'd go for a hike and then we'd write, and then we'd be like, the song we wrote today was pretty cool. Or, we were focused on it. And it was like, we just kind of like, just to keep our sanity, we would just write, and which is very backwards from the way all bands really work. A band gets together, they work on some songs, and they go do local shows, and then they go out and practice, they hone their craft. And so we were kind of a weird thing where we had this paused life, and we just started demoing all these songs. And then the pandemic ended, and then on tour stops in Chicago. So then we're back on tour. We're like the first tour we did was Omaha guy. We do Bright Eyes, and we were on that tour with Lucy Dacus, and somewhere so we started, like, when we'd be on tour, we'd just be like, I lived in Chicago for a long time, so I know a studio there. The guy who did our record, Mike Hagler, he did Summer Teeth with Wilco and My Morning Jacket and Nico Case. He's a great producer guy, great workflow, really easy space. And so we would be like, okay, we got a day off coming up on this tour. Let's book, 3 hours in the studio and see what we can get done. And then we would just kind of go into a real studio and just see what happened. And then we'd be gone for 3 months or 5 months or whatever. And then we'd come back on another tour. We're on Andrew Bird, and we'd do like 3 more songs or 2 songs. We'd have a day off. And so just we'd chip away at it. And then as kind of coming out of the pandemic and everybody was on the road, and we were busy as crazy. Sarah was like on Alanis Morissette and Garbage and like doing all these big tours as a merchandise manager. And I'm driving the bus and we'd kind of like the day before we were like, okay, we're going to be in Chicago in a week. So let's, here in Des Moines or whatever, let's rent a space and dust off that one song that we demoed and see if we can get that. And so it's very much like that. And then we'd go in the studio and then we'd come out with like a real recording. And then a week later we get a mix back and kind of, so that kind of went on for, I don't know, a year and a half maybe. And as we were working
I don't think we ever really set out to really make a record either. I don't think that it was really like that calculated. It just kind of happened where after, we gathered up maybe like 7 or 8 songs. We're like, oh my gosh, we're halfway through. Making a record right now?
We're halfway through a record.
I think this could be an actual band. What's happening here?
Well, and
you love the songs.
And you think of like the pandemic, that was an awful time, but I think there was a lot of good that came out of it as well. In a sense, you were forced to kind of hone in, become something, you don't know what it is. And now you guys, you're married, and I've watched people that are together, life partners, soulmates. But when you are in music and you are that talented, it almost, you guys become one and make these beautiful songs and records, and whether they're funny or they're deep, or I noticed that. And you know what? The pandemic, there is some good that came out of it, I guess.
Everybody's got one. Yeah. There's a lot of those, since we've ended, because we're touring, and of course we tour with every band we tour with is like, wow, man, I can't believe nobody wants to talk about it, but everybody's got like a kind of pandemic survival story. And so it's weird that our origin story, for lack of a better word, is, pandemic based. So yeah, totally. I'm right with you. Yeah.
Well, it definitely made us appreciate getting back out there and seeing live shows. That's for sure.
Big time. Yeah. Big time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was definitely a weird, worldwide kind of like, what the hell just happened kind of thing. And I think everybody kind of reevaluated, what's important. And that was the case for us. Like, we had this touring business, and we didn't really like, we tour all the time. So we're like, okay, we've got a good business. Okay. Like, we weren't necessarily even thinking like, well, what's going to be the end game of this? We were just kind of like trying to build a business for ourselves. And then we were just barely getting to the point at the beginning of the pandemic where we could start to see the light at the end of the tunnel for the business. So we're like, okay, well, maybe we can, one day buy a house or whatever, so that we kind of used the pandemic to write songs. And the songs, if you go through the album, the songs all have sort of like the album's called It's Okay If It Falls Apart, which was like, it's like the pandemic anthem if there ever was one. You know what I mean? It's okay, because that's the idea, right? Like we had to look at each other every day, and there was unbelievable stress through the time, and it was just like, look, honey, we're gonna be okay, and we're gonna survive, and we'll figure it out. And even if our business doesn't survive, we'll get day jobs or start a metal band or what. It was just like. And like all the songs have some continuity to that. And I think that the pause of like, yeah, well, like, what are we all doing here? I Am a Robot. I Am a Robot was the first song that in the writing process that while we were writing the record, or, you know, just kind of in the pandemic, that was, you know, it's about obviously about like AI and technology. I mean, AI wasn't even really a word then. It was just like everybody's staring at their phones and like binge watching Netflix. And we were just like, man, is this like what our life is going to be? And so when we wrote Robot, that was like the first song that we wrote that was like, this is a hit song. Like, this is a great song. It was the first song that I think we looked at each other and we were like, man, that's a earworm from hell. You know what I mean? And so we were kind of like, like maybe we should, you know, you kind of in steps, you're like, that was a great song. Well, let's see what we can do today. Hey, we got another great song. And that was the same way that it happened as we were recording, you know, when we'd record songs and they'd be like, that came out really good, you know? And so it kind of rebuilt some hope and stuff as we went along out of the pandemic, you know. So
we got really lucky with having like our friends guest on the record too, because we do tour so much. We've got a lot of like rock star friends who were willing to lend a hand and help us out with this project. Like Matthew Cause of Not a Surf is on Robot. I was on tour with them at the time, and I played the songs for Ira, their drummer, and he heard them and he was like, oh my gosh, guys, come in here and listen to what Sarah and Ian just did. And Matthew heard it. And, you know, we were super lucky to have him lend his harmonies on that song. And then we were on tour with Jawbreaker, and Smoking Popes were on tour with us. And so similar thing. I think you asked Josh Caterer of the Smoking Popes if he wanted to come down and lend his talents to our album. And he did. And we have even some percussion by Dan Bitney of Tortoise on there as well. So it's been really cool.
In the touring life, you know, I mean, you're in a different city every day. So we know lots of guys that we were on the road with during the record. And then like Sarah was in Europe when Matthew, you know, like when he heard Robot and he was like, I can't get that ear nugget out of my head. I got a harmony for it. And, you know, so, you know, the overlap of us and our band friends and, kind of our business and our life, really, our company's called Affordable Tour Solutions. It's not a plug, but our whole idea and our aesthetic is to really help artists survive. So we know the touring. Sarah's a merchandising manager, so she knows how to like, you know, figure out how to like help a band make as much as they can by merchandising so that the band can survive. Our bus company is like, you know, affordable. We try to be economical so we can help bands. So we know the economics in the world of touring inside and out. And so
we want you to plug. We want you to tell us all about. No, I mean, that's what you guys are here for. Like we're here for the world. Like, tell us more about your business, where you can find, like, how to get a hold of you and all of it. I mean, yeah, plug it in.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that. We got more business than we know what to do with. We got to turn away bands every day. The bus business is a weird thing because there's more bands touring than there are buses. We kind of stumbled upon this bus company, and there's always more buses. There's always more bands than buses. So we turn away business all the time.
With the exception of the pandemic, yeah. We've been extremely fortunate to have never advertised a day in our life. Like, we're all just solely word of mouth. People will tour with us and then, you know, tell all their other friends.
And crew, you know, if you think about a tour bus has 12 bunks. So like, you know, on the Not a Surf tour, like Sarah's the merchandising manager. So she like, you know, we did this kind of like, you know, and I'm driving the bus. Like after I got off stage in Omaha, I went to bed so that I could sleep, so that I could drive the band and the whole thing so the integration of the two things is very much like overlapping and, you know, but in that part of our life in the business, we've got more work than we know what to do. And we have long-term clients, like, you know, we tour with, you know, Bright Eyes there in Omaha. We tour with Cursive. We know like all those guys are just dear friends and family. And it's like, okay, they're going to be on the road now. And then they're going to be on the road in, you know, a year and then, or 2 years from now, they're making a record. So, So we've got that part of our life is pretty consistent. And, but, you know, the band and the touring thing of it, the plug, you know, the plugging of that is kind of a new thing because now we have to talk about like ourselves, not as just like, I'm the bus driver and Sarah's the merchandise manager. We write great songs and we have these cool hooks. This is just kind of like this weird piece of our story that overlaps and is kind of, ultimately, hopefully people find it interesting. But
You to know it's a great story, and our fans that follow this show, this is the kind of stuff that they love to hear, because there's a lot of people out there that are kind of trying to find their way through their music, or how do we find our way and getting on stage or getting their albums out. And hearing a story like yours, that's like old school right there. Like,
yeah,
you worked from the beginning all the way up. Like, that's a great story. And so I guess, so when did you start, like, then, playing regularly then out on tour then? Like right after you released the album? And
no, we did the kind of normal thing where, like you release a single, you release it digitally, and then you do all that kind of like try to go viral stuff. Like, because we know lots of managers and labels and booking agents and all, we're very well connected on that side of things. We would kind of have this shtick where we'd send the record. Like, once we had it where like the songs, like we had the whole record done, we're like, okay, well, now we got to get artwork and we know how to do. So we started that process, and then we're like, okay, well, now we should release a single, and we did all that kind of digital kind of stuff and tried to market it and ad campaign. I made a bunch of videos. All the the kind of singles that we released I do stop motion photography, artwork, and stuff like that. And so we started like kind of putting the word out to see if we could get a label to put it out or whatever, and or a manager, because we know all these like high powered manager guys or whatever. And so we did that whole thing, and again, all overlapping with like doing our day job, which is touring with Andrew Burr or Iron and Wine or whatever, all these cool bands that we get to live with. So we got a very satisfying life in that. But yeah, Not a Surf. I think when the seed got planted when with Robot, when Sarah played for Not a Surf, and then she was as we got the record kind of done, the Not a Surf guy was like, "Hey man, don't make any plans for next year. We're taking you out on tour." So we're like,
yeah. They've been extremely supportive of us, which has really been so. It's a testament to like how kind they are and how caring they are. And I've worked for those guys for like over 10 years at this point, doing all of their touring worldwide. So they're definitely more, they're a lot more than just clients to me. They truly are like my dear, dear friends.
Everybody.
And yeah. And so like, I think getting to be on this tour is just, it really is just a testament to like their generosity and them being so kind and supportive to us. I think it's like such a Not a Surf move too, to like have their crew opening for them. If you know anything about Not a Surf, like that's just such a Not a Surf thing to do. So yeah, it was awesome. We had tons of fun. We did the album was released in August of last year, and we played a couple of little small shows around Chattanooga. We did one of the larger festivals here in town also that summer, and then after that, we were just gearing up for the Not a Surf tour, like doing rehearsals, getting everything ready. I don't know if you guys noticed Ian's jumpsuit that he wore that night, but I did 4 different jumpsuits for him for that tour. So those took a lot of time to make custom jumpsuits. So yeah.
What are we going to wear on stage?
Doing stuff like that.
I can't just wear a band shirt because I got enough of those in my life. I'm married to a merch manager, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Making the band merch. I'm like, oh my gosh, our merch has to be amazing.
Yeah,
merch has to be amazing. Like we have to stand up next to Not a Surf, and
we
also
can't overlap. Sarah's got all these like little strategies. Like if Not a Surf has a hat, we can't have a hat because then
like,
that
conflict
will
of interest.
Yeah, so we got all these little weird.
Because I do their merch line also, so I have to be kind of careful on that, to not step on toes. But
or what if they get mad at their bus driver? Wait, I am the bus driver. What if they, what if I take a corner too fast? Then they kick the band off. What were all?
You guys are in way more control than all of them, because how are they going to get anywhere then?
That's right. You don't like the show, you're on. You know. That's right. Totally. Blackmail. Yeah, I love it. Good. Any advantage you can work. Sure.
Luckily, they're really easy to get along with. They're super easy to tour with.
Sweet as it gets.
Well, the jumpsuit really stood out. I remember like what was weird was me and another guitar player. We were up there nerding out, looking at all the gear. And then you guys come up and we're like, oh no, we're kind of like the old guys now. We used to be like the front guys, but now we want to sit in the back and like just chill, hang out. And we're stuck and we didn't want to be rude. So we're like, yeah, we'll stand here for a couple of songs. But
Thank you.
Yeah. I know you don't want to look at our ugly mugs while you guys are playing. The jumpsuit really stood out to me. It almost reminded me of like a Slipknot-esque jumpsuit, but not so aggressive, right?
Yeah, no,
Wasn't
we're that's the Cleellum. We're a kinder, gentler Slipknot, essentially. You know,
And
you
it
gotta-
What jumpsuit did you wear in
I
Omaha?
don't remember what one I was wearing in Omaha. Oops.
It was the red
Didn't
one.
like the Bloodhound Gang though? Didn't they have like
Oh,
all
the
the
red one?
suits and then
Yeah,
they
maybe.
had the I think it's badass.
Was it the red jumpsuit?
I don't remember what was it. A red one? I kind of feel
It
like
was.
red.
It was a red jumpsuit, and God, I feel like
Oh,
such
the stripe.
and like a red hat. I think is what you wore.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Hey, I'm pretty sure Kane's in your closet right now.
Oh man. All right.
Yeah, he's the uniform, or he's gonna dress you from now on, and I'll make lasagna.
It could be worse. Yeah.
Well, if this whole music thing doesn't work out for us, I think I have a career in custom jumpsuit making because we've had a ton of people reach out, like either asking to buy the jumpsuits from the tour, which incidentally are officially not for sale, but I've had a lot of people reach out asking me to make them their own custom jumpsuits, which
Oh my gosh,
I'm considering.
You should do that, and then have your logo and all of that. It's like our Elvis guy that we just interviewed, and he has his own Elvis suits, and he's like, yeah, I'll sell them after I wear them after a while or whatever. Jumpsuits, dude, I'd buy one.
Yeah.
Sweet. They're very sweet.
They take days to make.
Yeah, that's
They're very time
the
consuming.
problem. We're trying to have a band here. Yeah, that's hard enough. It's
So
crazy
for one,
because- yeah, well, that's part of the thing. Just to circle back to the question about like touring and building a band and touring all the time with our kind of day. We've got a glamorous-ish day job. It's not glamorous at all, but being road crew, like is its own kind of animal. And so like we've got touring commitments. Sarah's going to Europe with Not a Surf in July, and I'm going out on a tour Friday. I got to go out with Poor Me. I got to go out with Suicidal Tendencies and Metallica and Pantera. So like, that's, I got to spend 10 days doing that. But it makes it hard for us to go like, okay, well, we've got touring commitments for the Cleellum coming up. And trying to separate out that, like, we want to have, okay, we've got this cool story, but really like, we want to really just talk about the songs because the pleasure of, for us, I think the tour was, certainly the most satisfying thing we've ever done in our life. For me, no question. I think, what do you think?
Yeah.
Most satisfying thing?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed connecting with everyone at merch. Like usually at merch, I'm used to talking to everyone anyways, especially at those Not a Surf shows. A lot of the people that come out to Not a Surf shows again and again and again, a lot of them have had interactions with me before. And, I've made a lot of friends like through the years, just fans and just long-term friends that come out to these shows. So it was really great to see a lot of familiar faces, but also to get to visit and connect with people on another level than, I'm used to like talking about designs, and t-shirts and hats and all of that. So
and then they're like, wait, you're going to drums?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm going, excuse me, I got to go play drums right now. I can't sell you that.
I'm like, sorry, merch is closed for the next 40 minutes. Come watch
it sounds like you wear many hats. No pun intended.
Yeah.
But
I wear many hats and then they're for sale.
And make them.
I need to wear
love that. And
All right, everybody. This is as good as time as any to stop for a moment, maybe sit back, kick back, crack that soda open or beer, whatever you have in front of you, and just revel in the fact that we have so many great things going on in this fine town that we live in, and we have so many awesome sponsors to share with you. So stick around. We're going to roll that Elegant Sasquatch ad. We've got some new ones coming up. I think I'm rolling one of the older ones just to kind of break up the monotony, but stick around for that. They're always fun. And then after that, we will get to the local roundup. We'll talk about the people, places, and things that keep this show going. We will tell you what to do this weekend. I mean, there's a boatload going on in the area, and we don't want to miss it. So kick back for the ad. Do not fast forward through this. And then we will get back to it with our guests from the Cleellum, Ian and Sarah.
Hey there, human friend. Are you tired of your beard looking like a bird's nest after a windstorm?
Whoa, what? Who's there?
It's just me, your friendly neighborhood Sasquatch. I couldn't help but notice your, rustic beard situation.
Right? Thanks for pointing that out, Bigfoot. But what can I do about it?
Fear not, my follicle challenge friend. Introducing the Elegant Sasquatch Grooming Company. We specialize in grooming products that'll make your beard as majestic as a redwood tree.
Elegant Sasquatch? Sounds fancy. What do they have?
We've got everything a discerning Sasquatch or human needs to keep their facial foliage in top condition. Beard washes to cleanse away the forest grime, beard balms to tame those wild whiskers, beard oils to nourish and hydrate, and beard butters to make it as soft as a bunny's fur.
Wow, that's quite the lineup. Why should I choose the Elegant Sasquatch, though?
Because, my friend, we believe in sophistication for our outer beast. Just because you're a Sasquatch or a human doesn't mean you can't be classy.
I never thought I'd hear a Sasquatch talk about sophistication. All right, you've convinced me. Where can I find these products?
Head on over to the elegantsasquatchco.etsy.com and use the code SUPERSHOW to save 20%. Your beard will thank you.
Thanks, Sasquatch. I'll make sure to check it out. And hey, maybe next time we meet, my beard will be as elegant as yours.
Now that's the spirit, my friend. Happy grooming.
All right, let's get into the local roundup. There is just so much happening right now. I don't want to waste the sauce. I don't want to waste your time. So let's do the thing that we came out here to do. First off, Friday night at Gray's Keg, 8:30 p.m. Hellenbach is back. Hellenbach is Bach. They're Bach at Gray's Keg, and they are there to rock your socks off. So go there, say hi to them. I think we've got them scheduled on the show here pretty soon, so I can't wait to catch up with them. But go see them, everybody. That's all I see for Gray's. Now let's move over to Bodegas. Bodegas is under new ownership from what I hear. And so Friday night, 8 p.m., they've got the Midland Band there. Another band that I believe is scheduled to be on the show here very soon. They're doing a soft opening. So 8 p.m. Friday night there. Go check out the new ownership and go say hi to Bodegas for us. Let's move on over to the Zoo Bar right now. So the Zoo Bar, like always, has a boatload going on. They've got for the FAC, 5 p.m., they've got Savannah Chestnuts and the Field Hands. And then at 9 p.m., Friday night, they have the Squirrels, so go see them. Saturday night at 5 p.m., starting off, they've got Halls and Oat. And then at 9 p.m. Saturday night, they've got Front Porch, so head on over there for that. Sunday, they've got the Roots Music Shop Open Jam. I think they do it like the first Sunday of each month or something, so anyways, this Sunday, they have their open jam there, and it is from 4 to 7 p.m. So go over there, have a great time. Do the thing like we talked about with Tim Budig. Get there on these open stages, meet some other musicians, and build yourself a band. Have a great time, or just show off your talent. But if you go there, you set your amp and everything up, go play, everybody. Also, I want to remind you guys, Zoo Fest is coming up very fast, so it's coming up July 11th and 12th. I know that's a little ways away, but you need to plan now for Zoo Fest. It's going to be $35 a day, or it's going to be $65 for an all-weekend pass, and you really can't beat all the entertainment that they have, so go to that. 1867 this week. Looks like Saturday, they've got Not the Sun, Proto Hive, Everybody's Friend, and Grand Motel. That's an 18-plus show. Doors open at 8, show at 8:30. Sounds like a blast. A lot of great talent in this town. There's so much more happening out there. If you're part of a bar or just know of other places, get a hold of me. You can email me at scratchthevinylpodcast@gmail.com. Tell me ahead of time before the Friday show. We'll try to get it into these local roundups. So that's what I have. Let's talk about our sponsors. We just picked up a new sponsor. You can find them on Facebook. I'll get some more details on it. It literally just happened. It's Lil Bill's Barbecue. I personally had Little Bill's barbecue. He's got a bunch of flavors and anything from original to hot. They've got apple. They've got really hot and spicy. They've got all sorts of stuff. So check out Little Bill's. And let's get back to our episode now with the rock duo of Ian and Sarah of the nationally touring Cle Elum Band. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Let's get back to it.
Love that you guys travel around, you meet new people, all of it. And so Scratch Vinyl is kind of based out of Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska. And you guys have been everywhere. So I kind of want to know, like, when you guys are here, we've been here, are the Nebraskans, are we a little different? Are we like, oh, hey, come stay with us? And they're so nice. And hey, no, I didn't cut you off. You can go ahead and go in front of me. Like, how is
I'm Canadian, so there's my standard for niceness.
Even nicer.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
nicer than us.
I'm the high bar of Canadian politeness. Yeah, totally.
Okay, you win.
No, I don't make a contest. Second
No, it's a
only
good
to Nebraska.
contest,
Please, believe me.
You fit right in.
Canada,
You
and then
definitely
just
fit right
below
in.
that is Nebraska. Yeah.
Yes. All the Dakotas. I mean, we're really nice.
That's right. That's right. You're just a hop, skip, and a jump from Winnipeg.
The Tornado Alley. We're the nicest.
That's right. I agree.
But do you guys, I mean, I'd like to hear like maybe a story or something from Nebraska. Like, do you guys have family or any, I mean, I'm obviously you make friends everywhere. So
yeah, we've got band friends there. And it's funny, like one of the things in our touring world, we did have a thing. David Nance is an artist that's there. And he helped us out with like a thing where we had some gear that we needed to move. I think that maybe even in the pandemic or something like that. Like when the bus company shut down, we had like gear or something. And we were like, the Cursive guys, we do all their touring for a long time. And so they're good friends. And, tour managers and stuff like that, all the production people that work around that band or Connor, like we know all those guys and the Winchester and Oliver's, the bars that the Cursive guys own there, they're good. We've had many meals there. Omaha is great because
Omaha's always a stop for us too, like on tours or when we're like deadheading, which means we're like traveling across the country on the way to another tour. So like even just when me and Ian are on the bus alone getting ready to start another tour, a lot of times we'll plan to make a stop in Omaha because we have friends there and the Winchester offers us tour bus parking.
That's the problem is since we have tour buses, it's not like we get to just go and just jam around. Let's just go. We've got a tour bus, so with a trailer on it normally. So the problem of like going and hanging out or seeing friends when we have time is very much related to like the bus gets parked at the venue. But if we're traveling through Omaha, if we're heading to West Coast or East Coast, we end up parking the bus at the Winchester. There's a plug for our friend's bar there because they have enough room. So if you ever see a tour bus parked at the Winchester, it's us. Come on and say hi. It might be once in a long while, but I know we're the only ones that hit up Matt to hey man, we need a place to park our bus. We're gonna sleep. We need a place. I just drove 19 hours from Salt Lake City. I'm fried.
Parking and a meal.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They have incredible food and stuff like that. So yeah, we got weird little niche stories like that. So that's our Omaha friendships are kind of based on that, on the touring on the pals that we have from touring over there. So
yeah,
well, I love that. And also like just touring through Nebraska, I have had a couple people call at my little bar and hey, we're going through and we just need somewhere to play. And I'm like, you're who? Yes, absolutely. And you just never know what you're going to get in Nebraska.
Yeah, we love it. I mean, down to earth. We live in Chattanooga, so they're kind of comparable. Like when we were, like I said, we were in Vegas and we lived in San Francisco, and my Zeppelin band was in Chicago. So I've lived in all kinds of big cities, but we live in Chattanooga. We bought a house here just after after we dug out of the pandemic.
Almost 3 years ago.
Yeah, about 3 years ago. So after we dug out of the pandemic, we relocated here, and we love the kind of Midwest-ish, kind of mid-sized city. To me is the optimum because you can make friends and the people are, accountable to one another and there's a community. And
I would say it's like Nebraska vibes here.
It's Omaha-esque here.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice, genuine people.
You have a better music scene there. So we're here in Chattanooga to make the music scene is our plan.
Yeah.
With other bands. There's other bands here, but we definitely want to make a cool Omaha-esque music scene here.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it here, everybody. We have a decent music scene for all you people out there.
For sure.
trying to crap on it and say, oh, there's nothing going on here, man. Well, that's a bunch of crap. I mean, these guys tour everywhere.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time. I mean, that's what our show is all about, is we love having the opportunity to highlight some of the great talent that comes from here, that plays around here. And everybody comes up all the time. It's like, man, we've heard those guys. We didn't even know that's what, and I'm like, I mean, we say this all the time. Like, we've got a lot that goes on here, and people sometimes just don't really know. And
Well, Kane, he literally, when he got done with your guys' concert and got to see Not a Surf, and then you guys, he wouldn't stop talking about it.
That's what we want.
He loved it so much. And
The
he
songs
was
are engineered for
giddy.
that.
Yes. And then I started listening to more and more. Dude, your guys' music is like I keep saying it, but I love your music.
Nice.
And I just keep listening to it. I had to pause it really quick because we came on and then it was still playing. And I'm like, oh shit, I am not on mute. But I love it. I love it, love it so much. You guys are so talented. And I love female drummers, female just in power. I love it. And I love that your husband is so cool with that. And you guys, just the energy you guys have. And Kane wasn't wrong. You guys are freaking amazing. And
Thank you so
love
much.
you so much. And I hope you come to Lincoln sometime. You're welcome here. I have a closet you can put your stuff in and
Good.
have on a
Good to
bed
know.
if you want.
You have tour bus parking.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. In fact, I
We'll make
100%
that
have
happen.
to. Yep. Yes. 100%. God, we'd
Yeah.
love to have you here again.
We'd love to
we'll
help.
definitely share. How can people find you on the social stuff? Do you have any homepages or websites or whatever?
Yeah, we do. So we're most active, I would say, on Instagram. So we are the Cleelum. It's CLEELUM, the Cleelum. And like, if you are interacting with us on Instagram or over messages, you are like interacting with us. We run our own account. So so that's probably where we're the most active. You can also find us on YouTube. All of our music videos are up there. It's the same handle, like the Cleelum. We do have a website that is in the process of being rebuilt, but it is active. But we have a lot of new things that are going to come up on the website, and that is at We Are the Cleelum. And then you can also find us on Facebook also, under the Cleelum. I think that's pretty much where we are everywhere, is the Cleelum.
The Cleelum is a town in Eastern Washington. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's this little community in Eastern Washington. So it's kind of like, if you Google probably Cleelum, you're either going to get us or you're going to get the town. Yeah.
No, I literally Googled, and it means sweet water, and
that's right. Which we thought was good.
I love that because my name.
That sounds like a name. That sounds like a name for another song to me.
That's right.
It
Sweet
does.
water. That's a good
water.
idea.
Yes,
That might
and
happen.
I live on deep water. My name is Brooke. Let's do some water
I
songs.
see.
There you go.
I'm down. It's super flowy.
Branding.
Well, we'll definitely tell you guys. We'll definitely tell you guys that we always promote all of our people that come on. We definitely put you on our pages and hope for our fans will follow you. And next time you're in town, we'll definitely encourage everybody to go check you guys out.
For sure.
That's
Appreciate
nice.
it.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we hope to be back sooner than later. And we do, if any of your listeners like our music, we do have some singles coming out this summer. So we have new things. We've got a merch drop coming up. We've got a lot of exciting things coming up.
But you guys definitely made my you made my week that week. But I mean, honestly, you guys are I've seen so many shows and I remember something from all of them. And now I have something to take with you guys. So this is just the icing on the cake here to have you guys on the show. It's not very often you get to talk to a lead singer of a band who's touring, and then you friend him on Facebook, we chat, and you come on our, our localized kind of regional podcast. So man, I could not be more pumped to know you guys. We'd love to be friends with you guys. I think Brooke might be living somewhere, and
I'll just be sitting outside your house. No big deal.
All right. It's all right.
You don't have to sit outside. You can come in.
She'd be the Cleelum Band-Aid for sure.
All this booze left over from tour buses.
Yes, we could do booze, and I can make lasagna. We can
There you
we have a little not jam, but I do need a tambourine.
We've got tambourines, hand claps and tambourines. Yeah, we got them all.
Brooke is the band mom. Like she'll cook, and as long as you give her a little, just something to be part of the group, she will do whatever she can to take care of you guys.
Yeah. I'll even go to Walgreens and get you some batteries if you're.
There you go.
Whatever. Yeah, I know how to like.
That stuff is so important. You know, again, having a tour bus is a problem. Somebody to go to Walgreens and get batteries, believe me, those things are like unbelievably helpful.
Absolutely. And it sounds like you two, though, are just like all of the people that you're helping out. Like it is behind the scenes is crazy. Like you can have a puke bucket while you're on the stage. But who gets that damn puke bucket?
That's actually happened. That's a true story. I can tell you at least 2 bands.
But who had to get the puke bucket? I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Actually, it'd be the driver or the merch. Hold on. You're doing it all yourself.
Too much. I know.
Yeah. No, I love that you guys talked about how a lot of the bands really support each other that way. And it's good to hear that still happens, that, you know, I think if you're in the game, music's so important, and you just try to help everybody to elevate. And
it's all we got.
Yeah, because I mean, there's still nothing like going to live shows. I mean,
it's true. There isn't. You know, music is the only. You know, if you look at music as a branch of philosophy, you know, it's like it's non-denominational. It's totally open to anybody. A song is a thing that can travel from person to person, no matter their race, color, creed, pronouns, any of that. You know, they're just it's there for everybody. And I think with the way that digital stuff has kind of taken everybody apart and made everybody more isolated, that, you know, for us playing live and touring and just connecting with people, they lead to things like this, you know, where we can make friends and meet people and just like interact and help each other. It's just like all we got, you know. So I'm not going to trust governments. I'm going to trust, you know, Scratch the Vinyl podcasts, you know, over any of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, plug.
Rock on, yeah.
Cleo, I'm writing songs for podcasts. Damn it.
That's so awesome. And you guys are like the poster couple. I don't know. You're just beautiful. I feel weird to keep staring at both of you. I'm like, oh, they're so pretty.
Thanks.
Thank you. You're beautiful too.
Love it.
Red lips.
Yeah. Let's do makeup talk.
That's our signature. That's her signature to our. That's her signature to our group. I mean, that's
Mine too. I know you. Little known fact.
Our shirts, all they see is those red lips. So they go, that's Brooke.
That's right.
Nice. I hand out red lipstick. You'd wear some, right? Ian,
I would.
He would. Yeah.
I totally would. Oh wait.
And I wear it too.
Yeah,
yes.
Well, you know, as usual, you know, time flies when we really get into the good stuff, and we can't thank you enough for really taking some time out of your day, and obviously busy schedule with what you're doing, and just sharing with us your story. And man, we wish you guys the best.
Appreciate it. You too. Thanks so much for having us. Really, really a pleasure. So we'll see you next time, and we're in town, and all that kind of stuff, you know.
All right, STV fans, you guys, we had another great interview. We've been telling you guys it's getting better and better, and we keep delivering, and this show was no different. So it's been a blast with Ian and Sarah, but like all good things, this good thing must come to an end. So tune in next week, all the millions of listeners out there, to Scratch the Vinyl.
Scratch the Vinyl.